Welcome to the future of money. Come with us on this journey into the world of Bitcoin, blockchain and crypto projects. You're going to meet the trailblazers. These people have changed my life and they may very well do the same for you. As you all know, we endeavour to bring you the best, the latest in the blockchain gaming world, and we're really pleased to have Vlad from Blockchain Cuties with us today. So welcome along, Vlad.
Hi guys, thank you for having me.
Yep.
A pleasure.
And joining us also, Mr. Gonzo and Jesse, two avid gamers, very familiar to you all. So, Vlad, I think maybe the best way to kick it off would be for you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your project and your game.
Okay, sure. My name is Vlad, and before we started Blockchain Cuties, I've been working in gaming industry for about 15, 16 years. So we decided, okay, let's do something that we can start with, that we know the market wants, crypto collectible, and then try to aim at creating a product that we're good at, like strategy game. So we drafted a plan and basically kicked it off. But then the market happened. So we released the game in March, the beta in March 2018. It was working, we were happy, and the final release was in April. It was Ethereum only game. And at that point, we thought that we would do a very particular and popular user acquisition strategy, use Facebook, use Google Ads to just onboard people. And if you remember, back in 2017, where ICO was a big thing, everybody was doing Facebook, and it was working fine. But exactly when we released the game, a month later, I believe, Facebook and Google banned crypto ads, Twitter followed. So our go-to-market strategy had to pivot right away. And at that time, we decided that Ethereum is the only blockchain on the block that supports smart contracts only right now, but there's definitely more and more popular will come. So we were waiting, and when EOS came, we decided to do a multi-blockchain approach. So we launched on EOS. It was just an initial launch, and we thought that we would get some market attention just because we are one of the few games on EOS. But EOS at the time was very, very difficult. So there were block producers, each nourished their own community, and you couldn't basically target all the EOS playing audience at once. You had to try to work with different block producers, try to reach their audience, and we weren't very good at that back then. But then Tron launched, and despite having similar model with super representatives, they had it in a more centralized way. So we decided to approach the Tron team and do it together with them. And it proved to be a huge success. So Justin Sun advertised our project. He bought his own cutie. He drove a lot of traffic in. And that is when we started to move really fast. We understood that it's a great way to work in a bear market because traffic is scarce and it's still very expensive. And blockchains, they want use cases for their blockchain, they want success stories. And we had a very good technical team that could develop the version of our game to basically any project in 2-3 months, depending on the complexity of the game, which also grew because we always developed it. Then we onboarded to Neo a year later, and a year later we onboarded to Matic, which is now Polygon. And that approach shaped a completely different landscape in terms of how you play the game, because each blockchain within the current game has two markets, one for NFTs, cuties, and one for items, which are server entities that transact through the blockchain. So server entities aren't tied to any blockchain, and thus there's always a good economical arbitrage opportunity for people to play on one blockchain and sell items to people who play on another one. And when we encountered those new ideas, they brought new problems that we need to solve, and that happens all the time. So I think we are one of the most experienced teams on the market in terms that we did so many mistakes and we survived, that we have like unique knowledge on how to do stuff properly right now, especially in terms of economy. So if to compare with Axie Infinity, they did a very, very smart thing from the very beginning. They developed slower, but they never let their economy down. So it was always calculated. It was like it was always working. Their game was like a bit different in 2018. Some people didn't find it like very interesting, but they pivoted quickly, and their new like adventure / tournament system with free access and cards was released, and it gave the game what needed to be done. But the economy and the market was always working. We, on the other hand, had our item market ruined for about like a year, and we were able to recover it. We introduced a lot of different systems, and now it's like slowly growing, which is great, because if you've been watching the space like since at least mid of 2018, there were like thousands of crypto games, thousands of CryptoKitties clones, and like 99% of them died out. And mostly because of the economy problem, because people didn't have experience of building those. And it's not that easy to create like a good economy when there are like communicating markets, when things that happen globally influence the things that happen in your market, when there are people like who play on like in United Kingdom, in United States, they value their time differently from the ones who play from Pakistan or India, for example. And that creates a lot of micro and big discrepancies that all influence the market, which is not that easy to control. So I'm happy where we are right now. We have a lot of things like in front of us, but because we survived and we've made a lot of mistakes, I think that this year and next year are going to be great for us, because we definitely know where are we moving.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Axie Infinity's sort of massively exploded onto the scene, especially in recent months. I mean, on that note, could you maybe sort of talk us through, what the play to earn sort of stream options are here? Are you looking at potential scholarship models? Tell us a bit about those 2 points initially.
Sure. So in terms of factors that indicate like NFT's value, I think we have more than 25. It's like more than in any other blockchain game at the moment. But like their exposure maybe isn't that obvious. But because we have so many, there are many ways how you can earn money. So the most popular one is for people who like exploration. They try to breed new unique cuties. Not unique, but tribute. So we have like a 64 gene sequence. If you try to figure out the correct ones, you get like some attributes. Some are rare, some are not rare. And attributes in our game not only influence how the cutie looks, but also provide it with elemental stats. So if you are able to go into a particular like attribute tree, you can create a very powerful cutie that excels in one specific element. And because adventure locations in our game, they usually have some sort of element affinity, then those inexpensive cuties are very good at those. So people try to breed those very rare cuties, and when they understand that they found a recipe that nobody else is breeding right now, they try to create like 10, 20, 50 cuties. So they will get like an oligarch position on the market and then try to sell them. That's one way.
There's no RNG, like there's no random number. It's you just, once you figure the code out, you can breed it?
There is randomization there, but you can like breed it to a particular extent. So for example, if you know that this father and this mother like produce a tribute cutie in like 70% chance, then you just like breed them 10 times and you have 7 cuties. Yeah.
Right. It's like Axie then with that, like their
yeah,
but I think you have more.
Yeah,
right?
it's similar, but like we have recessive and dominant genes, and when the breed happens, they have a chance to switch. So like
Right.
mother,
Right. Yeah, you get your grandparents' genes, and then they become the dominant ones.
yeah, and it happens, if I recall correctly, not even like with grandparent genes, but they change every breed. So yeah, a mother can have like well, yeah, basically it's very similar. I don't want to like dive deep into super big details because it's nerdy stuff, but yeah.
For me, that was the most, like, the funnest thing about Axie. Basically, it's like I'm finding it as like genetic warfare. You know, like you play the game and you figure out what works, and then you breed it, and then players start using it, and they're like, "Oh, this works," and then you breed more of it, and then it starts showing up on the market, right, at like really high prices.
Yeah, and it changes the meta, and now they become like the new thing, and you have to discover. Exactly.
I love
we have
that layer of the game, man. It's like so cool because it's like slow motion. You know, you got to think about it, plan it, get the resources. It takes a couple of days to breed them, right?
Exactly. And in our game, we have like some genes are available only on Tron blockchain. So, for example,
weird.
they're not yet discovered on EOS. Some are on EOS, and you have to like experiment in that regard as well.
Wow.
So,
if you so many questions about all that stuff.
So do you find that, wouldn't that be, I mean, how difficult? It seems like it's getting a lot of people all willing to, I guess, participate in so many blockchains, just your average Joes.
Well, average Joes are usually playing the blockchain, which is the cheapest. So for a long time, it was Tron. It's fast in terms of transaction per second speed. And it was very, very cheap. Then they had like several voting sessions where they decided that the fees need to be increased. And now it became pretty expensive. So people moved to Matic, moved to Neo. Matic is cheap, but like breeding process on it, it's using the old formula, but Matic like increased in price a lot since then. So breeding on Matic is expensive, but we're addressing that. Probably will change it like next week. On Neo, it's hard to onboard because like Neo was developed and like hugely investing into Neo free. So it's not out yet, but the support like of Neo 2 isn't that good in terms of infrastructure solutions, in terms of wallets and so on. So people are like not sure whether like they need to jump in, but on Neo, it's like the most inexpensive to play right now. And suddenly EOS in Blockchain Cuties became a thing. It wasn't for 3 years. It's the second blockchain that we attached, but there is like a new person in the community. He started exploring. He understood that it's great. He created a group. He put in some people there. They started to communicate, and every day more and more people jump on EOS because it's like very inexpensive. It's fast. The infrastructure is great, and we're having like those meta shifts in terms of which blockchain dominates basically all the time. It's also like part of the game as well.
Yeah,
and
wow.
in the
That's
Wars of Cutie land that is like slowly developing, blockchains will be presented as factions. So like the amount of cuties that people breed there, it's going to influence the political landscape of the game then.
Way to go. You're going to promote the tribalism in crypto.
Yeah, we try.
You're gonna make it worse. You're gonna make it worse. Oh no, my BTC cutie is worth more than the ETH cutie.
Absolutely, Vlad. I mean, we love to sort of introduce the key people in these projects to our community. So, I mean, on that note, could you maybe sort of tell us a bit about you? Who else is involved in the game, and what your roadmap is right now and moving forward?
Well, in terms of team, you mean?
Yeah. What's your background? How did the team come together? Tell us a bit about you and who else is involved.
Okay, so as I told you at the very beginning, I'm from gaming industry myself. My background is game design, game production. I know how to code a little bit. So we have, in terms of people right now, like 2-3 people who do server and blockchain stuff. And because we are like one of the first projects on the market who started doing that, we have quite an extensive experience. And those people mostly aren't public. So we sort of keep them in secret. There is one guy, his name is Arthur. He communicates with the community all the time, and people really like them because he basically is very active in Bax chat, where people like report different issues, and he always like fills the tasks, tell them the number of the tasks, so they have like a grasp that we're working in it, or at least like it's in our task tracking system.
So
Then we have
it's 1 or 2 guys that do all the blockchain stuff, like
no
all the blockchain?
in blockchain
Wow.
stuff it's only two guys. Yeah.
Well, it must be pretty smart, hey? Get all those blockchains and all the coding, and because it seems like you have like specialists for usually with the coding, right? For per blockchain, and having a multi-talented.
Well, yeah, those are senior guys, and they know what they're doing, so they're very experienced. In terms of front end stuff, so we have 2 guys. They basically are doing front end. So at the beginning, we had like our own templater that wasn't very optimized. And in late 2019, we decided to switch to Vue. It's the framework that LinkedIn is built on. And we're like slowly redoing all the screens and doing a lot of refactoring. So another issue that I want to talk about here is that when we started the game, we tried to be as fast as possible. And we did like at least like 3-4 updates per month, but that created a lot of like technical debt. And the game became, in terms of code base, like pretty huge. There were like a lot of not very optimized systems, but we tried to be as reactive as possible. And when additionally we had like more and more blockchains attached, the whole development process became a lot slower because when we need to introduce like a new game mechanic, it needs to be supported on 5 chains. So the thing that we had like with code base became an issue pretty quickly. So we do a lot of refactoring as well. And each time that like our community sees that, for example, a screen was light and now it's like dark theme, this is only like top of the iceberg. Under it, we also like cleaned a lot of code, changed the logic, made it more optimized. So we want the game to be as fast as possible, and we are hiring right now in terms of like to increase the speed, people on front end part. We also have additional like backend programmers that do Verse of Qtland separately. It's like a small separate team, and they're like doing this whole Unity project that we showed to our community in May. But they're like they're not committing to the main Steam repositories. It's like separate. Then we have a few testers, we have project managers, we have one global community guy who is always present, and we have part-time community guys who help us with Asian markets. Right now, they're like mostly not working, but we tried 2 times to go big like on Japanese market and on Chinese market, especially in late 2018 and 2019, and we had a separate teams that were working for that. Now like we have like 1-2 people who occasionally help us, and they also help us with translations to those languages. So and we have a pretty big art team. Usually it's around like 4, sometimes 5 people that are drawing paintings, that are drawing cuties and items. And we have like a lot of content. So right now we have more than 1,000 item types in the game that makes like your cuties look unique. And in terms of customization, I think nobody's even like that close on the market right now, because we were drawing a lot from the launch, and we're like 3.5 years in the market.
Awesome.
So that's the team. Well, and we have marketing guys, but yeah, it's a separate team.
Have you started following the play to earn trends with marketing? You know, like markets like Venezuela and the Philippines?
Yes, we tried. We have a very active Spanish community, and there are a lot of guys that are very loyal since the very beginning from Venezuela.
Nice.
And sometimes I do, like I myself go, I don't speak Spanish, but I copy Telegram chats and Google Translate them to understand what people are talking about. Yeah, Venezuela
Nice.
is growing in terms of community in our game.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, but the Philippines?
I don't think so. Well, maybe they are, but we don't have a separate Filipino community yet, and
you will
it's
now.
like hard to track.
You will now.
Yeah.
You will now, bud. You will now.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. And we'll add to your Venezuelan community too, because our scholars, you know, let's see, we're probably 275 about right now, right? And I would say about it's 65% Venezuelan. Filipino, and then another like 15-20% Venezuelan, and then the rest from various other parts of the world.
So, yeah, on that note,
they're into everything we bring on, you know, and if they can see the potential, you know, like putting time into it and then earning some crypto back, they're all like, okay, boss, let's go. Where do we go? What do we do?
Totally. So Mr. Gonzo, maybe that's a good time for Lad to sort of talk us through like a bit of a startup strategy for our community. If they're watching this, what's the
we have a couple
step number
starter packs
one
coming, right? Like maybe you could review what's in the starter pack.
Yeah. Step number one is to gather some cuties, like not one, 5, 10. Try to breed them. Try to create like an army, and because actually, we are very close to the launch of season 6, and seasons are like a new type of economy in our game. So how they work is that when they are released, there are a lot of new items, both for novice players and experienced players, and they have a temporary seasonal bonus, which is usually very huge. And it is advised to commit into seasonal economy because it's like short to long-term investment. The season goes for 3 months, and you need around like 30 cuties to play the season effectively, to be able to complete all the quests. Yeah, so 30 cuties with good elements, and try to engage into crafting seasonal items, because from season 4 we are very like heavily concentrated on crafting, and as I was talking previously, we have very complex crafting system. We have like recipes that are not available to everyone. You can randomly open it and nobody will know how to do it. So it will be like your unique recipe that is in the game, like the Geno, but it's harder to get it right. And you can just be an exporter of a very particular items to the market until other guys get how to do it. We have communities who like work together when season starts. They share the recipes. We call it like guessable crafting, but there are two parts of it. The global one, which like consists of usually 5 elements, and they just create an Excel sheet and try to craft all the combinations. It's not hard, it just takes time. And the secret one. And sometimes like we have people that didn't even get how to create a very powerful item that we put in the game. So there were the situations that it's like end of the season and nobody crafted it yet. So if you're able to do that, you're basically in a gold mine, because everybody would want those items and nobody knows how to craft them. So, but in general, it's 3 keys to success, like effective cuties on a blockchain that has a lot of momentum right now. So I would suggest starting EOS or like Matic or Neo, because it's cheap. And on Neos, the community is starting out. There aren't many good cuties in terms of gene set. So there is a lot of market opportunities there. And then
Sorry, what did you say?
Cuties, so
They're gene safe.
gene
Gene
seeds.
stat.
Yeah, gene
seeds.
stat. So yeah, well, gene seeds, basically genomes. So
I see,
as I
okay,
told you, some cuties are available only on, like, for example, Tron blockchain, because people were playing long time enough, and they opened very interesting gene combinations that, for example, allow them to create water dragons that have like very strong water element affinity, or earth bears, or something like that. And on EOS, people want to have them because it's very inexpensive to breed and to create armies, but they aren't available there yet. So people need to find a way to breed them.
But eventually,
and the market is there.
Will you eventually be able to move them across?
I don't think so. Well, we can do it, but I think the discrepancy between the markets and the different affinity in terms of which cuties are present where is healthier for the market, because they do differ. And you can, for example, play an expensive Ethereum. It's pretty hard, but because it was the first blockchain, you have very interesting like gene combinations there and very powerful cuties. So if we would allow to interbreed between blockchains, and generally speaking now as possible, technically, but it would destroy that
so can you
healthy
use
discrepancy.
One that you breed from one blockchain on a different blockchain? Like you can only breed on one blockchain, but
no, you can't. So
okay.
so yeah,
where you breed it is where you play it. So you got to kind of decide and then stick to that.
Yeah, but you as a player can have like several cuties on one blockchain, several on another, because when they go to like raid bosses, adventures, and so on, it's not like tied to blockchain.
I see. Okay.
And what additionally we're thinking about right now is to create a rotating blockchain buff system. For example, we would take a month growth rate of those cryptocurrencies that are present as blockchains in our game. And for example, if Ethereum grow the most, then EOS came, then Tron, then we would like create a rock, paper, scissors system, which blockchain has like +1 attack, +1 defense against another one to change the meta. And it would change like every month, depending on the market performance of the existing chains.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's an idea right now.
So many levels of game.
You may have mentioned this before, but I just wanted to just touch back on it, which was when you're building an army. There's like a minimum amount of cuties to have in the army. Is the same thing? Is there a maximum? I mean, I know with Axie, you have 3 in Axis. What is?
We don't have like minimum and maximum. We have like global tasks and optimal amount of cuties to perform them. So if you want to take like 80% of what the season has to offer, usually you're okay with 30 plus cuties. But we have people who have like thousands of cuties, and this creates like a chasm between experienced players and inexperienced. And that's why we shifted towards a seasonal economy, because we can like put them on one table. Everyone in that regard.
At 0,
yeah. And in terms of the amount of cuties, like the more you have, the more economical benefits are opening to you, because cuties are basically like guys who bring you items and potions, and there is always like an item and potion market, and new players that want those items and those potions.
In real life, guys that bring you potions and money are very popular as well. So
yeah, they're very busy as well. Those are the busy guys.
Exactly.
Got it.
Vlad, what sort of growth are you're seeing in the community?
We had big spikes when we did an IDO, so a lot of people came in. Majority of them were like one Binance guys, and they were interested only in the token, but we also had like a decent amount of new players, and in terms of percentage, I think we growth like around +20-25% in March, and right now we're growing at a rate of from 5 to 10% per month.
Okay.
You launched at the top, man. Good job. The IDO bubble top, like almost the exact top, eh? Right? And
Probably yes, but
I know, like we were looking at the token price, and it just totally matches the whole market, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. And we also like we in terms of private investors, we had and we're still feeling like big pressure, but right now it looks like that we're recovering, and because judging from the fundamentals, our project is pretty okay. So we already have the token utility, and the new token utility will be present in the next season 6, and we're going to introduce more and more of that like in the next months. So by the end of the year, I think BCUG will be like hugely used within the game in a lot of different mechanics.
Play to earn people don't care about the market conditions. They just play.
Yes,
I mean, they want to cash out when it's the top, but they're playing regardless. Like they don't stop playing because the bear market comes in, right? So
and like our favorite type of players that came from the IDO are the guys who did like fundamental analysis, and they decided to jump in and check. Okay, I've invested in this project and it doesn't grow like as fast as I expected. Let's see what they have inside. And when they like understand that it's like huge deep hole of processes, and it's always like improved, and new ones are appearing, they understand that it's a long-term investment, but it's definitely going to grow because we have strong community, we have very good retention numbers. In terms of community loyalty, it was like end of 2019, and nonfungible.com did only an Ethereum community analysis, and I don't know why, but they picked a metric of like 8-month retention, and on 8-month retention we were like 10 times more like had better numbers than the next game that was coming after us. So people who understand how to play Blockchain Cuties, they usually love it, and they become like very supportive.
Here's a question about like the startup. From like you said, the breeding sounds quite complex, and the crafting. What's kind of like time frame do you need from like when you just I have no idea what this is to like, okay, I can play the game? What kind of time frame do you think there?
If you're doing not casually, but like, okay, I'm investing my time, then basically you can get around in a week for sure, even less time. Okay. In terms of like investing money and getting it back, it also depends on the amount of time you spend in the game. But when season starts, some people do it like right away, some people within like month and a half. But usually, like if you invest into season, you definitely get a positive ROI if you play it like frequently by the end of the season.
I see. So 3 months is like the season, right?
Yeah. But it depends on the starting conditions and the amount of money you put in. So we also have like, I've talked about the cuties that you can breed, but we also have like unique cuties. They look cool. They have great stats, sometimes overpowered. You can't breed them. And each season we release like 2-4 cuties that are season specific, and they have unique abilities to like go to additional adventure where nobody else can go, or get some sort of disease immunity, which is present in some locations. And with those guys, it is like easier to do it like faster, because they're always 100% effective, and they have additional like pool of rewards that they can help you get out of the game.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like you got to pick those up once you get the game going a little bit and understand the stats and, where you want to go faster.
Yes. Definitely don't do it at the very beginning. It's important to understand the stats, and the community is always there for you. Just go to Discord or Telegram, like send a cutie link and ask them what they think about it. And they do usually tell you that it's very expensive, for example, don't buy it, buy from the community, or sometimes they tell it is good.
That's in the special section on the website?
Yes, that's in a special sale section.
Special sale. Okay, cool. Yeah, we were looking at some of those and I was like, okay, let's just get the big one. But no idea what it does. I mean, I've noticed a lot of people doing that with Axie as well, right? Where they're just like, okay, I'm investing. I'm going to buy the most expensive thing, right? And then it ends up being a total turd in the game. and you're like, all right, you just bought the hype.
Yeah, bought the hype, bought the collectible item.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the weird intersection, right? Where you have the gaming and the collectibles, right? If it looks cool and it's collectible and it's good in the game, then you're on a winner, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
true.
Sounds interesting. Sounds like
absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, sort of short and sweet. What should we communicate to our community? I mean, why do you think people are going to get hooked on this game? What is it for you that makes Blockchain Cuties special?
Well, for me, it's the ability to adapt to what's happening around you, and that's like we have a lot of species of cuties. We have a lot of items. You can create an army of little bodies that look exactly how you want them to look. You can name them. If you are a dog lover, they will be dogs. If you like lizards, they'll be lizards. So that amount of customizability is like very, very decent in our game, and I love it personally. In terms of people who are very from crypto, this year we are also focusing on a lot of tools that will bring like more of the exchange stuff to the game, because we have a lot of in-depth mechanics, a lot of items, a lot of things to discover, but the exposure, the discoverability element isn't that great in the game. And there aren't like a lot of tools that allow you to trade effectively, to discover what's like valuable in terms of market value, what's trending right now. And this is what we want to like implement in the coming months. It will be like some subtle updates, but they will improve a lot. So you will be able to basically manage and trade stuff easily, and you will know, you will be able to discover and to better understand what's valuable in the current meta and what's not. And additionally, but we try not to like brag about it for a year or so, because we were very late on that. We're doing this Words of Cutieland update, and it would improve the current utility of the cuties. So if you have like thousands of them right now, you will be able to combine armies out of them, and it will be like a lot of NFTs versus a lot of NFTs on the battlefield, with tactics, with different ranges, and so on. And hopefully we'll be able to show how the battle system works in like this year, like in autumn somewhere.
Yep.
And people are hyped about that. So like, another thing that I want to talk on this podcast is that despite the fact that we're doing blockchain games, the ones that succeed, like the underlying players are about like good economy and good market products. If you, for example, compare Upland and Mega Cryptopolis, both games are about like property and city building. And Mega Cryptopolis, they have like this 3D element. You can drive the car, you can see how city looks. And Upland is very minimal in that regard. It has like sort of Google Maps overlay, but good economy inside. And Upland is more popular. More people are playing it. More people are enjoying it, despite the fact as a game, it is a much more simple game. So we learned it the hard way that the most important stuff here is to create like market tools on the first place, and then build something that is more for gamers. Because people will wait. People need to see that you're not like leaving them. You even if you overpromise and underperform, they need to be sure that you will still do what you told them you're gonna do, and you learn that you always deliver. And then there's going to be a great game, but it's a great game in a new economy. If we look at native mobile games, I don't know, like Game of War, economies there are always controlled by developers. Totally, like they do special auctions, special sales when like they put a lot of soft and hard currency into the game, then they create events that take it away, and it's like usually a sinusoidal scheme. But here it's like very hectic, it's uncontrollable for the developer, and it's free market. And this is what excites me the most, is that in blockchain gaming, gamers and developers are very close in terms of like titles and ways how they can communicate in terms of power. Yeah, exactly.
there's no
This
devs without the
this
users.
is great.
There's no users without devs. So you guys got to get along. Hey, I have a question about the site. Like when you see all the different cuties and the different, like ones in EOS and ones in Tron, you know, you're talking about those market tools. Does that involve like having some kind of swap where, like, do I have to deposit EOS and Tron to buy these cuties from different chains? Or is there a solution to like just deposit one currency and buy with any?
We already have this thing implemented. It's being rolled out into different systems slowly. We call it off-chain currencies. Basically.
I see that. Yeah, I was looking at that. It says.
Yeah, and we can't do it with cuties that players are selling like easily. We can, but like with custodial tools, we don't plan to build them right now. But everything that is like item market connected with the things that we sell as developer, we can do that. Yeah, and we're definitely going to cover that on the third place, and then maybe think about adding that custodial level to allow this currency to be used for cuties as well. And the great stuff is that this tool that we created, it doesn't violate Apple App Stores and Google Play's policies, because we tried to go to like we created an iOS app and we got rejected 14 times. If you remember, my crypto heroes, they got their app released before people in Apple knew what NFTs are and how this business model works, and they got some like Japanese users from iOS because their app was available, and we unfortunately spent a lot of time and money on that and never got there.
Is that still like, is that a battle you're still pursuing? I mean,
we're not spending time on it right now, but we found a solution with off-chain blockchain currencies, and we do believe that mobile is a way to go as well, despite the fact that like around 70% of the people who play blockchain cuties play it on desktop. But still, like there are a lot more people in the world, even who are into crypto and want to earn money, that use their mobile devices. So that's definitely a thing that we need to revisit.
You know, how come you guys kept getting blocked, or is it just the mechanics of the blockchain or NFTs? Or?
No. So the thing is that there are basically four things at what they look. First is they practice like a scheme. If somebody buys something and they don't like it, they can like give it back. In crypto, the transaction is finite. If you bought something, you received the asset and you can't give it back. So there are no chargebacks with that. Then if you use with crypto, they can't get their like 30% cut. Additional thing is that they don't know who are the actors at play. So if you go there, you basically need to create a complex KYC procedure, somehow work with Apple specifically on that, maybe send them those data about users. And otherwise, they don't know like where this money came from. Maybe it's like some kind of a drug dealer who just plays the game and try to cash out. So it's a risk for them from the regulator. And those things combined, they create like a situation where they don't profit from your game being there. They have like users outraged that can't do chargebacks, because you can do it like with credit card, and we had credit card introduced in 2019, and actually that was another like experiment that didn't go that well back then. But Apple doesn't want to mess with that. And in terms of credit card, what interesting thing we had is that we created an ability to play with email and with credit card. And when you like a specific cutie and say, okay, I want to buy it, we under the hood checked which blockchain this cutie on, created a non-custodial wallet for you. You wrote down your like seed phrase. And then we took money from credit card, underlying we put our own money, bought this cutie from that player as a game and transfer it to your account. On EOS, wallets were like costing $2 back then, so it was more expensive. And we created this thing and tried to target at users who aren't into crypto. And we had a lot of them like from Romania, from Ukraine, some from Turkey. But the interesting fact is that because they weren't like educated in crypto, they bought like 1, 2, 3 cuties, and they didn't know what to do with them. They didn't want to go to community to speak in like Telegram, try to band in. So basically, they left the game in a week or in a 2. And we had like 80% of people who were jumping from credit cards back then.
It sounds like you're just like 2 years too early with the credit card scheme, because that sounds
exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
like timing, just launch it again, because it would go great now, because there's so much more knowledge about NFTs and gaming and earning, and you know. And I find we're teaching a lot of people about crypto because they're coming in to earn, not to learn crypto, right? It's like, oh, boss, what's the seed phrase, you know, and stuff like that, and like proper, you know, safety practices, like getting a hardware wallet, and you know, just all the crypto security stuff that you go through when you get into crypto.
Totally, and that is very important. That is very important because educated audience is still a way to go for crypto games. So actually did show us that mass market is available, and it's like within our grasp, within the industry's grasp, and everybody start jumping into the market in terms of game developers. But still, people who are already educated by like guys like you, they are more valuable. They know what they do. They have like bigger impulses in terms of, okay, I want to understand what's happening within this game, and I can like spend 1 hour trying to understand. And that is very important, because people don't, when they don't have this impulse, they usually like, something's happening, I don't know what, so okay, I'll live with that.
I give up.
I give up.
Okay, fantastic. I'm sure our community is going to get right into this, Vlad. It's been fantastic talking with you. We'll put some videos out in the next couple of days showing a bit of gameplay. And would love to have you back on maybe for a live Q&A with our audience in a week or so's time.
Great. Thank you for having me, and it'll be I'll be happy to join you on the next podcast. And if you have if your audience have any questions, would be happy to answer them like live.
Brilliant, excellent. Thanks so much for your time, sir. We'll see you very soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Cheers.